to the last few events, not only a home Grand Prix on the horizon, but you've got an Impact League title to defend.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun part of the season. We're really excited to be here in Singapore, obviously the first Asian stop of the circuit, but yeah, for us, things are incredibly tight at the top of the Impact League. The Canadians have been doing an incredible job there, so we're looking forward to continuing the push right through to the end, and also the performance on the water. We feel like we've struggled in the last couple of events, and really looking forward to stepping things up here.
Well, talking about things on the water, looking back in Dubai, it must have been frustrating to pick up the penalty that basically led Australia that ticket to win the Dubai Sail Grand Prix. But we've also heard that you've collected some points going into tomorrow's racing after an incident with USA. Can you share some information on that?
Yeah, it was a little bit frustrating yesterday. We had a tiny tap with the USA guys, and that's the rules here, where if you have any contact, you get points. It's a frustrating one, but it's going to be a long weekend, and we're just looking forward to putting our best foot forward and making the most of it.
Do you think it's fair, or do you think it just goes to show that you've got to push and practice to execute in racing?
I think the rules are the rules, and you've got to play to them, but if you're not going for a gap and taking things on, and right from the practice right through, we get such a short amount of time to practice here that you've really got to make the most of it, and you can make mistakes through that, and obviously we made a little one yesterday, which is pretty frustrating as a team, but no, it's something that's going to be a long weekend, and looking out here, it's going to be on the lighter end of the spectrum, so there's going to be plenty of opportunities throughout this weekend, and it's going to be about not making any more mistakes.
Well, it's tough competition out there. You've got France and GBR fighting to push you out of that top three. Do you have to do anything differently going into this weekend's racing?
Not really. I think everyone's preparing for the light air. I think we're all only looking at one set of our notes with the big wings and then the light air boards. But it's going to be exciting racing. It's something that you've got to be good right across the spectrum. And I think yesterday showed that we're going to get enough wind here to foil. It was really nice in the afternoon being able to foil around and check everything off. And it's obviously been a long gap between events from Dubai to Singapore, so it's been about getting back into it, making sure everything's working well on the boat, and trying to build up nicely into the weekend.
Well, it's great to visit cities around the world, but I'm sure you're looking forward to New Zealand in just a few months' time for that home event in Christchurch. How's the event shaping up, and what can fans expect?
Yeah, it's incredibly exciting to finally have a home event. We're obviously very excited to try and have one last season, but COVID didn't allow that to happen, but it's incredibly exciting. Everything's been amazing to see the pickup locally, with nearly everything selling out within the first kind of 24 hours of tickets going on sale, and the like. So it's been amazing to see so much home support, and being that venue as well, it's probably looking like it'll be on the windier end of the spectrum, which should be pretty exciting. It's been a little while since we've had that, and should be a great lead into the final in San Francisco.
It'd be great to visit another new destination. Quinton, it looked like you almost had that final wrapped up in Dubai, but a few errors out on the course. What would you manage it differently if you make the final this weekend?
I think the final was nearly on our hands, and we made too many mistakes in the second upwind. We had a really good debriefing after the event, and all the guys took their responsibility on maneuvers and me on not closing the game with the boundaries. So I think next time, even with a big lead, I think we will be really concentrate to close the game and try to keep it until the end.
Well, even though the Aussies won the event, we know that consistency and confidence is very important in SailGP, and it seems like your team has that right now. What's changed in the team, and are you expecting to be on the podium here this weekend?
Everybody is fully dedicated. It's not only the sailors, it's also the management and the communication. So we just feel that we are only one team, and it brings us the right confidence, not too much, not less. And I think it's one of the key in this kind of league, and especially SailGP, because the level is really high, and as we all know, and we always need confidence to perform.
Well, the results seem to be turning into commercial success because I hear you have some positive news announcing new partners. And how important is commercial success to the team?
Yeah, as you say, we announced ICET.com and all.com from Accor Group, which is a really good news for the French team. And we all know that it's really important because one of the sailing legend, Nathan, did. I mean, he leaves the league for this reason. So, I mean, we all know that we have to bring money, and we are really proud of that as a team. I think Bruno did a really good job, and also Simon, our commercial director. So, yeah, really good news for the French team.
Is this showing that the French team is gaining more recognition in France in general?
Yeah, I think so. Canal Plus, our broadcaster, did a really good job last month, and I think the collaboration we had with them is really good. Hopefully, we will re-engage them for the next seasons. But yeah, I think also with the French results, it's increasing a lot, and the audience are way better. So yeah, I think one day we will be really good in France with SailGP for sure.
Well, we got some off-the-water insights in the latest episode of Racing on the Edge of your team. Did you like the episode?
Yeah, I mean, it's always difficult to tell the truth about yourself and what you live as an athlete. I try to tell the truth and go back to my past experience with the Olympics, which was really painful for me. But I mean, at the end, is a good document, and yeah, I think they did a really good job, and it shows the truth. So that's what we want.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing. Tom, I'm assuming your team is still riding high off that win in Dubai, even though it was a few months ago. Champion teams seem to be able to win even when things are not perfect. Is that how it feels on board?
Yeah, obviously we were really happy to get away with that one. I sort of see it as more of luck than skill. Yeah, with a couple of races to go there, New Zealand were going to overtake us in the overall point score. We were going to lose 6 or 7 points, and then a few things went our way. We had some better races, a bit of unlucky for New Zealand, and a collision cost them points, and the whole thing got sort of spun around so quickly. We knew we just had to do what we could do and try to have some good races on that final day, but a lot of things outside of our control had to go our way, and they did. So I sort of think of that as luck more than skill, but I am super proud of our team. When the pressure is on, I have full confidence in the guys sitting next to me, guys and girls sitting next to me, that we're going to be able to perform under pressure, and it's a good feeling to have. It's not something you can train. It's something that just sort of happens, and people have it or not, and my team is really special in that regard.
Do you think that's why you have an edge on the other teams, that you guys can consistently perform and thrive under pressure?
I wouldn't say it's consistently. I mean, this year for sure we've had 2 lucky, and I guess the team sailed really well in important times in the Chicago event and Dubai, where we looked like we were down and out, had a couple of good races to finish the series and snuck in the final and then won the final. I sort of see that as a great effort by our team and performing under pressure, and then a bit of luck. So, but that's sport. Every single sport has that factor, and yeah, we've been on the right end of a few calls this season, and that's put us in a nice position heading here to Singapore.
Well, with just a few events left, it looks unlikely your team will be pushed out of that top 3. Does that mean every event's just a warm-up for the grand final now?
We don't see it that way at this stage. This venue, I've never raced here before. It's the first Asian leg in Singapore for SailGP. This looks like a very tough event. Historically, light airs are a bit of a weakness of ours. We can do well, but we're also a bit erratic. And so, yeah, we've got this event will be crucial. After this event, we head to Sydney, where we're very comfortable. New Zealand, where there's a bit more wind predicted, and San Francisco where it's strong winds. So we feel comfortable after this event, but we need to get through this one. If we get through this one in good shape, I think we can sort of start focusing a little bit more on the final.
You want to get through this event in good shape, but you're missing a key player this weekend. We hear Kyle Langford's out. Can you tell us about that and how it will impact your team and what your plan is?
Yeah, unfortunately, Kyle Langford won't be here with us. He sustained an injury. He's bulged a disc in his back, and he's out for this event. It was a last-minute thing. I think it happened on the weekend, and we were hoping he would be all right to fly on Tuesday night, but unfortunately, that's not the case. So, fortunately for us, we've got our super sub Ed Powies, who is an unbelievable sailor. He can fill in. He's probably one of the only reserve sailors here who can fill so many different roles, and he'll be filling in for us on wing. And James Webanowski, an Aussie, will be joining us as our spare sailor.
Oh, well, hopefully Kyle will be back for the home event in Sydney. Sydney's developing a reputation as one of the real showpiece events of SailGP. You must be pretty happy to be heading back home soon.
Yeah, we are. It feels like a long time since we've been back in Sydney, and all my friends and family, every year they go to that event and they all go out on Shark Island and they come in quite drunk, but they also just say it's the best day of the year for them. The atmosphere on Shark Island and the party, I guess, and yeah, watching sailing, racing in such close proximity. They all mark it in their calendar and book their tickets straight away, and yeah, so I can't wait to get back there and perform in front of friends and family.
Well, having a home event is great, but we also heard from Quinton that having sponsors is super important. Have you had any progress for the Australian team?
We have. We announced Sky Vodka, which is huge for us. They've joined our team, and they're going to be a major partner, hopefully, for the next few seasons. And then we've also had a lot of progress on new ownership of the team, and hopefully we'll have something to announce later this season. We're getting there. We've got a long way to go, and as Quinton said, that it's part of the game in this. We, as CEOs of the team, we all know that it's not just your on-water performance, it's off the water as well. And as you see in F1, lots of teams come and go, and that's often because they can't secure financial backing. So we know it's part of the game, and we're working very hard to try to secure Team Australia for the future.
Well, the commercial side is certainly important, but so is purpose at SailGP. Nikolai, your team announced an exciting initiative this week with your purpose partner, One Ocean Foundation, called More Speed, Less Plastic. What is this about, and why is it important to the team?
I think it's important to all teams, not just us. I mean, all teams in SailGP is doing everything they can to make a change for the climate and the planet. And this new initiative is trying to divert and remove plastic from the oceans. Every year, 8 million tons of plastic goes into the oceans, and we're going to try to do something about it. I think it's just to give a few words what it is. Our speed times 10, that's what we're going to remove in plastic. And then our partner, Rockwell and One Ocean Foundation, is going to remove the fastest boat as well, times 10. From each event on top. So hopefully, if we get close to 100 kilometers an hour, we can remove 2 tons of plastic per event from the oceans. That's the goal.
Well, that's awesome to hear. Talking about racing in Dubai, do you feel a bit more robbed again of a final appearance? And what actually happened in Dubai?
I don't feel robbed. It's sports. You have good and bad days, and at the moment we're having a few more bad than good days, and that's just life. And then we just gotta turn it around and as Tom said, there's also a bit of luck to it, and I think it was a bit of unluck in Dubai. Not much we can do about it. Our computer got too warm, and it just meant we didn't have any race screens for the Sunday. And unfortunately, in the last race, we lost also telemetric, and that means we're not allowed to race. So Sunday was a tough day, but that's life. We just got to get on with it and have a better event here.
Well, despite the bad luck, you're still in the hunt for the top 3 in San Francisco. Do you believe you can still make that grand final?
Absolutely. It's we don't give up until the end of the day, if that's what it is. But until then, we keep pushing hard, and we still have options. It's still 4 events left, so let's see. A lot of things can happen, and I think, as all the guys say here in Singapore, I think it's going to be a tricky venue for everyone, and you can quickly lose and gain points here in Singapore, even any team. So let's see on Sunday where we stand.
Well, it is light wind racing, as we heard. What are you expecting from the racing, and what were you practicing yesterday to go into racing ready?
I think it's going to be tricky races if it's super light. It's going to be very packed and a lot about traffic and not so much about the maneuvers. And I think everyone's very focused on getting off the start line so they get some clear air on the first downwind. If you get out in the front, it's very easy to or very hard to overtake. I think most teams are pushing hard in the starts and the first downwind, and then from there on, it's probably going to be really few passing lanes on the race course.
Well, starts are super critical. Phil, in your first couple events, starting was your wheelhouse. Have you been working on anything specific to get back that advantage?
Yeah, I think probably a venue like this is going to be very different in terms of how you start, and I think you've got to rely on experience, and thankfully in our team we've got probably quite a bit of experience in this style of racing. And the last time I was here, I was racing in Marina Bay, and I can assure you that was a lot harder than racing out here. So now it's a great place. We're excited to be in Singapore, and it's it should be hopefully a great weekend of racing.
Well, there were some bright moments for your team in Dubai. You won a race but struggled to get consistency. What's it going to take here in Singapore to move you forward in that top 3?
I think probably every team here is very focused on their process and learning, and we're a new team, we're a new squad, and that's probably one of the hardest things. You're going to find weaknesses every now and then, and it's something it just takes time. So for us, we feel like we're on the edge of putting it all together, and I think we're happy. We're in a good place. We make a couple of mistakes, but look, from those we learn a lot, and I think as a team we're getting a lot stronger, and hopefully we can put it all together here this weekend.
Well, there are 2 trophies in SailGP. We can see them behind you. And now your team is overtaking New Zealand for the first time as leaders of the Impact League. What does that mean to the team?
Yeah, we're stoked. Right from the outset, we're the newest team in this circuit, and our focus, one of the first meetings I think I had was about the Impact League, and the whole team is set up around it, and I think that's quite unique for sport. For us, we're looking at it every single day, and all our members are taking big steps daily to make sure they're reducing their impact on this earth. And it's cool. We're happy, but look, we're all competitors. Everyone sitting next to me is fighting to win that Impact League as well. So we know we've got our work cut out. We're going to work hard till the end of the season, but it's going to be a tight competition, and for sure being on the podium in the Impact League is a big goal of ours.
Well, great to hear there's plenty happening on and off the water. We're going to take a moment to take some questions from the floor or from our fans online.
Ahoy, Peter. New Zealand is certainly a heavy air venue. Do you feel that you and Blair are ready to head into this light air thing with very tricky onshore currents there with some meanders around?
Yeah, we definitely still get a bit of light air back in NZ. If anyone watched the America's Cup, they would have seen a fair bit of drifting around. But no, it's actually looking pretty nice out there at the moment. I think we got quite a bit more breeze in the forecast yesterday, so hopefully it's enough that we can be foiling around a racetrack. So it's looking forward to it.
I'll have a question from online. This is from Joan. With all the technology, can you feel the boat in the way that you can feel a conventional sailboat, the way that it catches the wind? Are there sensory clues in your hand as a driver, or is it all relying on the technology? And I might ask Phil this one.
I think probably what people don't realise as sailors is you probably feel a lot of the boat from your bottom or your backside. So sitting on the boat, all your feeling is coming out of there in a way. And big boat, small boat, it's got slightly different feels, but for sure you're feeling everything through your whole body, through your feet, through the wind on your face, and you're using all your senses. And it's quite unique on one of these boats. It is bigger, a lot faster, but it's all the same stuff. And I think as a squad, we put a lot of time focusing on sailing in little boats, because you do get a lot more feedback from a little boat, but that all transfers to a big boat. And the more you can learn in a small, foiling fast boat, the better you're going to be, and the faster you're going to learn in something like this.
I've got a question for Nikolai. Could be controversial, depends on your answer. What would you add or change on the F50 that would make it better to sail?
Probably make it a little bit lighter, looking at this forecast this week, but no, the boats are pretty good. I don't think we need to change much. The key is that they're all the same. It's one design. We all have the same tool to compete with, and that's the key and the cool thing behind it. So we're pretty happy with the boats.
Well, thank you all and good luck this weekend. Before we welcome our second group of athletes, we'll take a quick break to reset. Please stay in your seats and we'll be back in just a few minutes' time. By Spain SailGP team driver Jordi Chamar and Olympian and driver of the Switzerland SailGP team Sebastian Schneider. Ben, we'll kick things off with you. You were just one move from victory in the Dubai final. What happened?
Well, we messed up the last jibe, really, which was, I mean, it was a great race. First and foremost, I think it kind of had everything about it. But yeah, we got the last maneuver into the leeward gate wrong, and cost us the race. We went from first to last, effectively. So that was frustrating, but like I said, it was a fantastic race.
Is that pressure, or was there a crew error?
Yeah, ultimately we didn't stick the maneuver. So whether that was the pressure of the situation we were in, ultimately we made a mistake in the handling, which of course we've analysed and worked out how we can do that better next time.
You've had 4 podium places so far this season, but yet to win an event. That's not the Ben Ainsley we've seen in the past. What is it going to take to get back to the winning ways?
Yeah, it's one of those things. I think we're sailing the boat well. I mean, we can always sail it better. We're getting ourselves in the mix and with a shout of winning these events. But like you say, ultimately we've got to get it across the line in that podium race, and I think that will come. It's just ultimately, like I said, about getting yourself in that position to start with and executing when it counts. But the trick with SailGP, of course, is getting yourself into that final in San Francisco. And that's really the focus for all of the teams. That's the focus for us. Of course, it's the same. And executing, getting in that race and then executing, that's really what it's all about.
Well, you're well positioned to make that top 3 and replace France or New Zealand to make that final. Presumably, if you keep getting podiums, are you expecting to be there in San Francisco?
I don't expect anything, but that's certainly what we're trying to do. That's our goal, like I said. It's really tight. We've seen with the racing, it's, you know, the points are very tight. Any one of these teams can win these events, could win this season. So it's just really about trying to get consistency, keeping in the mix, and again, executing when it counts.
Well, you've got Hannah Mills back with your British team this weekend after she had a baby in October. So congratulations to Hannah and her partner Nick. It must be a fantastic boost to morale, and how good will it be to have Hannah back racing with you?
Yeah, it's really, to have Hannah back with the team is a big deal for us. She's an exceptional sailor, you know, once in a generation sailor, and I'm really impressed that, you know, only 3 months ago she had baby Sienna, and she's back with us sailing. Yesterday we were only 4 up, and she's on the pumps, on the handles at the front of the boat, getting stuck in and giving really good feedback straight away in terms of, you know, the strategic and tactical input into the racing. So she's a really key member to the team.
That's fantastic to see. Jimmy, you also got CJ Perez back in the fold this weekend. Are you looking forward to having her back, given her extensive experience in SailGP now?
Yeah, it's great having CJ back. She's done a number of events with us, and yeah, it's great to now have a bit of depth in the roster to be able to do some rotation if we have a conflict with one of our other athletes.
You've been speaking about depth in the roster all season, and we see that Rome Kirby will be back on board as the flight controller this weekend. Why have you made that swap, and how are you feeling about this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, it really hit home to me in the $1 million race in San Francisco last season. You know, we found ourselves right beforehand. You know, Rome basically separated his shoulder, you know, almost fractured his nose in a big crash. And I thought to myself, wow, if Rome can't sail here, we're in big trouble. So we made an investment to really try and build some more depth and give us some options. like a lot of the other athletes in these teams, a bunch of our athletes are doing Olympic programs as well. So unfortunately there will be the odd conflict here and there, and as we've seen with Kyle Langford, there will be injuries. So yeah, we made the decision that we need some depth. We need to allow for situations like this, and this is a classic example. We're able to bring Rome back in, who's a world-class athlete. I've done a lot of campaigns, had a lot of success sailing with Rome. And yeah, so we're excited to have him join the team and get back out there and do some racing.
Does it feel a bit like a make or break weekend? Like a poor performance here could rule you out for San Francisco? And do you think the US fans will be expecting you to be there at the end of the day?
Yeah, I don't think it is make or break. I mean, as we've already seen a team lose points and we haven't even started racing yet. So things can, and we've been on the receiving end there as well. You know, I think what's good for us is we've shown we can win during the season, and there's only a bunch of teams that have proved that. But there is a lot of racing to go and a lot of points up for grabs. I mean, this damage rule is really, really aggressive and can be quite harsh sometimes. But that's the way we're heading with this racing. It's just so competitive and everyone's pushing really, really hard. Even in the light air conditions, the boats can come together. So yeah, I believe there's still a lot of points on the table. And at the end of the day, it doesn't really change our strategy. I mean, our strategy is to come in and try and make the podium race on the Sunday and do everything we can to try and get another win.
Your team has a pretty good track record in the lighter winds and the big wings. Do you think the Racecourse here will favour your team?
I'm not sure anyone can really be a favourite in these conditions. But, I mean, we should take some confidence because we've shown we can compete at a good level in these conditions. I think when you look at this racetrack and you look at the forecast, just like yesterday, probably a high chance we'll be sailing 4 up at some point, I'd assume. But yeah, it's tough sailing in these conditions because where you see some teams, like the Aussies, have an advantage, let's say, once the conditions get a little windy. In the lighter air, it seems like that's gone and everyone's, you know, on the same level.
Jimmy, you've raced all around the world. What have you made of the venue here in Singapore?
Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing venue. I mean, over my career, I've definitely utilised the airport in Singapore a lot, but unfortunately, I've never been able to step out. And so, yeah, it just looks like an incredible city. I think this is a great setup for fans, and I'm expecting we're going to get quite a lot of people turn up and watch the racing.
Well, Jordy, your team's carrying some momentum from the race win in Dubai. How important would it be to you to get on the podium this weekend?
Yes, absolutely. The momentum is good, not only from Dubai, but also from previous events. And obviously the goal is clear, no, and it's the podium. We are working hard, and as we've seen, we are improving, and yeah, we hope this podium arrives sooner than later.
How do you keep the momentum going after that, gap from Dubai and hit the ground running here in Singapore?
Just working and working. There's no more secret than this. Working with the SailGP data team, working in between the team. There's a lot to analyze. We had 2 really good days in Dubai, but unfortunately on Saturday in the lighter breeze, there was a lot of lessons to take. No? So we've been really putting a lot of effort to take all those lessons from Saturday in the light breeze, and then also I've been obviously we've been also sailing in our little boats, the moths, which we also feel are a huge step for us at the time that you sail those boats.
We saw how much pressure you were being put under as a driver in the last episode of Racing on the Edge. Are you feeling a little bit more comfortable after the wins in the driver's seat?
Yes, of course. To be honest, I never felt uncomfortable while driving the boat. But yes, of course, always that you jump in a new class, you need to go through new situations and learn from them, no? But yes, 100%, every day that passed, every single day, every single hour, I would say I feel more comfortable. I don't stop learning things from the boat, from every single condition, and yeah, for sure, I feel 100% more comfortable.
What's the focus for the team now with 4 events left? Are you still contenders for the top 3, or are your eyes on season 4?
Well, when we got here in Singapore, we've changed the year, but in the first team meeting we had here, I told our guys that it's a 36% of season to go, I have the feeling there's a lot of talk, like if we're already in season 4, 36% is a lot, and especially in SailGP, which with contacts, win everything, there's 40 points on the table to play, so the season is far from over. And yeah, obviously if we continue making the mistakes we're doing, won't change much, but if we start to making better starts and sail as we're sailing on the straight lines and maneuvers, we can still, there's plenty to go.
Well, after a fantastic event in Cadiz, it seems the team is building awareness in Spain, and you announced a new partner before Christmas. This must give you confidence, and do you feel that excitement from the Spanish?
Well, excitement from the Spanish, yes. We feel it always. No, it's pretty special and magic how coming here, we're in the airport, they see us with their red shirts, and people come by, vamos gallos, let's go. People it's in Madrid, no? That it's there's no sea around, and we also are getting the super there, no? And so yes, obviously we're also very happy to announce we've announced Pérez Ancía, our new sponsor for the next 2 seasons. So yes, awareness is growing in Spain, and the good thing is that there's more to come also.
Well, Seb, your learning curve is still pretty high. There were some bright moments in Dubai for you. What did you learn last time out?
Yeah, we, as a new team, I mean, we keep learning a lot every time we sail those boats. Dubai was great for that because we were sharing the Spanish boats with these guys a couple of days ahead of the event. And yeah, every minute we can spend on the F50 is gold for us. So yeah, we're learning a lot and trying to catch up on all the more experienced teams that have thousands of hours on these boats. And yeah, I think we learned what we saw in Dubai is we're just getting closer. Every event we're getting closer. I think the points in Dubai were the closest it's ever been. So yeah, we really feel like we're on the edge of doing a jump in the fleet and hoping it can happen here.
Well, you've got the guru Nathan Outridge back this weekend on the crew list. What will his role be this weekend, and how will the comms work between you both?
Yeah, he'll have a similar role than Dubai, really as a strategist and painting the picture for me and helping me taking some decisions. He's always sitting right behind me, so he's also able to coach me directly, and yeah, it's great to have such an amount of experience on the back of the boat. Having said that, you know, when we're sailing 4 up, he's not on board, and yeah, we feel just as comfortable, so yeah, it will be interesting.
Well, you mentioned that we might be 4 on board this weekend. How hard are these boats to sail in that configuration, and how do the roles change on board?
Yeah, it's definitely more multitasking. You know, as a driver, you have to fly the boat, which is normally not really the case, and everybody has more things to do on board, but I really enjoy it. I think in those conditions, the team seems more level, all the teams, and we feel like we have a lot of opportunities, and we like it. We saw yesterday we were going quite well, so yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Well, your team continues to be one of the real standout performers of the Impact League. Can you tell us a little bit about what it means to you as a group?
Yeah, I think for us and for all the other teams, the Impact League is really important, the message behind it especially. With our partner, the Win Foundation, we're working a lot on equal opportunities, and this month is particularly exciting, you know, with the Back the Beat campaign, because at the end of the month we should get an answer if sailing is reinstated into the Paralympics, and yeah, we're really hoping for a positive answer, because I think sailing is really one of the best sports for any Paralympians, because there's so many options, so many boats you can sail on, and it doesn't matter what yeah, you're limited with, you can always find options on a sailboat. So yeah, hoping for some great news to come.
Well, I couldn't agree more. Thank you all, and I now invite questions from the floor.
Yeah, so I'm Kailing from the media. So this is actually the first time SailGP is coming to an Asian country, right? So I believe you have the chance to be on the waters yesterday. Maybe can you just take us through about what's exciting and what are some of the challenges of racing in Singapore?
Well, I would say, first of all, the biggest challenge we're facing is the light winds, especially for this week, because those boats are designed to fly mainly, and when there's light wind, there's this situation of the boats flying or not flying, which the crossover makes it very difficult and challenging. So I think this is the biggest challenge we're going to face, most of the teams will face this weekend.
Hi, welcome to Singapore. So this question is for anybody. This is the first time that SailGP is here in the region. What value do you see in having the competition here in Southeast Asia and in the Asian region? Yeah, thank you.
Ben or Jimmy, do you want to take that one?
Well, look, I think Singapore is just an awesome venue. We're seeing, you look at the Formula One, MotoGP, it's, having spoke to a few of the drivers, they all spoke really highly of the venue. And I think for Singapore itself, they have some incredible racetracks, but they probably didn't realise they have a great racetrack right here, right next to the downtown. And so, yeah, people will see that this weekend, and it's just great to be in Asia, and I think it's an important part of the tour. And I think we'll see quite a few fans generated after this event.
Welcome to Singapore. I'm Karis from Sport Plus. This is a question for Ben. So Great Britain is right behind the top 3 in the Impact League. So I want to know if you guys have any special initiatives for this weekend in particular.
Sorry, was that regard the Impact League?
Yes, the Impact League.
Yeah. Well, we do. Could be a little bit careful what I say here, but yeah, we're certainly making some good strides forwards with the team. Of course, our team with the Protect Our Future message is really striving hard with the digital education platform and reaching out to more youngsters both in the UK and around the world. So we're bringing on some new partners with that, which is really exciting. And we've got more to announce on that in the coming weeks. But I think to see all of the teams in the league really make great strides forwards. We had an event here last night with Fee Morgan, who's the head of the Impact League for the league. And the number of people that came and interacted with that event locally was fantastic to see. And the technology that's going on in sports and with the sport of SailGP, and a lot of what we were discussing about the trickle-down effect of that technology into the wider marine industry is really exciting. And that's, of course, key to tackling this challenge around climate change. So I expect to see a lot more coming, both from our team and the other teams in the league.
Ahoy, I think we're looking at the 2 youngest and the 2 oldest skippers here. 25 years ago, I covered a match race in St. Thomas, and during that match race, I was amazed to see a 19-year-old kid going head-to-head against Peter Gilmore and Chris Law. Jimmy, what do you attribute your longevity to?
Well, firstly, I'd just like to highlight that Ben's actually older than me. So he is the oldest, sitting up here. I probably look older, though.
Still got some hair, though, eh?
Yeah, he's definitely doing better on hair. But yeah, look, I think, for both of us, we've had it's been an incredible ride because, when we started out, it was really quite conventional, the sailing. We're in kind of multi-hulls, displacement boats. And when you look at what's happened over, the last decade, it's just been a quantum leap for the sport. And I think one of the biggest changes has clearly been the length of the races. So it really starts to appeal now to non-sailors, starting to watch. We're looking at some of the broadcast figures. Certainly, I'm focused on the US. It's incredible. I mean, our last 2 broadcasts, we outranked Formula One, Premier League Soccer. So that's pretty exciting. And so, yeah, I think the boats have obviously been a big change there, to see the boats now flying. I mean, just how fast they are. The athletes have clearly changed. So it really is all of the above. But I'd say, look, at the end of the day, it's kind of better to be lucky than good in the terms of our timing, because we were fortunate enough to be a part of this, incredible wave, and now SailGP, which is, I think, probably the biggest moment in the sport.
Are there any more questions from the floor? Well, we might let our drivers go prepare for racing. Thank you for your insights. Just a reminder that racing gets underway this Saturday and Sunday, January 14 and 15, just after 2 p.m. local time. There are only a few tickets remaining, so if you haven't got a ticket, be quick and you might just be able to grab one to watch all the action from the official race village. There is even a fabulous SailGP beach club here in Singapore, which is where I would go if I was on shore to watch the racing. Also, a reminder that you can watch the racing live here in Singapore all weekend. Head to sailgp.com/watch for details for how to watch wherever you are. And don't forget, there is also the SailGP Deep Dive podcast for all the inside news and gossip. Good luck to all our teams racing and enjoy the spectacle.